Good late evening, Master Duel fans. James Polk here. More matchups on the late night. So, let's see what's up. First things first. Lilith, Lady of Lament. If this card is normal summon, its original attack is 1000, and as a quick effect, tribute 1 dark, reveal 3 normal traps, I randomly choose one in terms of opponent, and then the opponent straight up sets that random trap, and then hard once on the tribute for 1 normal trap. From a Power Popper Up. First of all, never saw this card in my life, so let's see how this works. Send up to 3 cards from your hand to the grave, draw that many cards, then you can, optional, special summon up to that many monsters from your hand with different names that are Performer Pal, Magician, or Odd Eyes monsters. Magician Pendulums. In terms of each with a level between the pen scales of the 2 cards in your pen zones. So basically, all the opponent cares about is draw cards. And the side effects, if anything, if you did not special summon by this effect, you lose 1000 for each card in your hand. So basically, draw cards and lose 1000 per number of cards drawn. And as a disclaimer, by the way, about when to shotgun Droll, I actually did not use Droll and Bird at all because judging of what my opponent plays, I have zero clue about where this leads to. So I chose not to shotgun the Droll at that rate. Mallet, Upstart, and Trap Trick. Now, at that point, have my opponent chose Upstart after the duality is done? Now was the time for me to Droll, but again, zero clue on where this led to, and I honestly do not know when to shotgun it. So, by the time my opponent picks the Trap Trick, there was no point for me to Droll. And as for Trap Trick, banish 1 normal trap from your deck that isn't Trap Trick, and straight up set one with the same name straight from the deck. Also, it can be active this turn. And then the side effect is activate 1 trap card for the rest of the turn after this resolves, and it's hard once. Lilith activates, tribute herself. Triple DD Dynamite, mandatory, set the DD Dynamite. As for the Dynamite, burn your opponent's 300 for each of my banished cards. Drew into Ash, and then Banquet of Millions. Banish any number of cards from your extra deck face down, and banish the same number of random face down cards from your opponent's extra deck face up until the end phase. And then hard once on it. How many cards out of the extra deck? 14. Surprisingly enough, he didn't do 15 in his extra. And then 15 times the 3, 45. And then Trap Trick's gonna do some work. Set another Dynamite. And then this would have been game. Have he put in 1 more card in my opponent's extra deck. So let's see what extra deck monster or monsters that my opponent is leaving me with. Banishes all 14 and banished all 14 of mine. So let's see. Mud Dragon, Celine, Chidori, Access, Full-Time Pebble Operative, Drill Driver, Lina, Downer, Gagaga Samurai, Artemis, Area, Restrict, Hita, Win. So the only one who is left out of my extra deck, I believe it was Miss Alsa. My opponent left me with Miss Alsa, which there was no point of me link summoning assuming that if I come across an Earth, but nope, never saw it. So, DD Dynamite, let's go to work. And Trap Trick chain to the Dynamite. $42. That is 84. That upstart goblin was in his way from OTKing me. And yet, my opponent is playing 14 cards in his extra. Okay, first of all, have my opponent play 15 cards in his extra deck, random based by the way, 15 instead of 14, that game should have been over and I legit would have lost at that rate. So, what to do now? Monster Reborn to Lilith. Normal Summon Dark, Special Ran Ryu, and just go to work on the damage. Now, this was something I did not know about the first time I controlled Lilith. Her tribute a dark monster just to straight up set something. Technically tribute a dark monster. It was originally intended for Lilith, which I did choose to tribute, but it doesn't specify what dark monster to tribute. So what I should have done was tribute the dark instead of Lilith, just to straight up set the partnerships trap, just so that I am guaranteed to revive dark, offering the trap card on my opponent's turn, and assuming that if he has a face up card, I get to spot removal it. But you know, tributing a Lilith makes sense. Like, again, should have tributed dark, but it's whatever. My opponent mandatory picks the Dynamite. I mandatory pick partnerships. Well, technically, I mandatory pick Dynamite. My opponent mandatory picks partnerships. And as of my opponent's turn, how extra confident I was. Extra confident to gain me the victory. And honestly, whatever that face down card was, have it would have been a burn card of any kind, I would have lost. But 14 cards instead of 15 cards in extra, that would have ended my life right there in terms of the duel. So with that being said, to my opponent, GG's to you. And if you love to see more of the cheesiest action there is, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And hit that notification bell to keep yourself constantly updated. And I'll see you guys next time.